Yesterday, my dear sisters and brothers, we read and reflected on the teaching of St. John about love. Today, we continue reading about his teaching on love. Despite their apparent separation, the beautiful readings from Mark's Gospel and the first letter of St. John have a deep connection to one another and illustrate the safe and active life of faith. Together, they show how God's transformational love touches both our internal relationship with God and His exterior presence in our challenges, eliminating fear and building steadfast trust. The interior dimension, confidence through love, is the main subject of the first letter of St. John, chapter 4, verses 11 to 18. It makes clear that God's perfect, unconditional love for us is intended to dispel every anxiety, particularly the fear of judgment. This divine love grows within us as we absorb it and live in God, inspiring us to love others. So our love, not only for God, but it's also for our neighbors. The cycle of giving and receiving serves as evidence that God lives in us, promoting spiritual development and bestowing boldness on the day of judgment. I think it's very clear that we will be judged at the end of our life based on love, how we have loved. Mark chapter 6, verses 45 to 52, on the other hand, illustrates God's active outward presence in our real hardships. Following Jesus, the disciples end up in a violent storm. Seeing their struggles, Jesus approaches them while walking on the water, showing himself as the amazing, quote, I am, and demonstrating his absolute control over chaos. The direct remedy of situational fear in his instruction is take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid. Which demonstrates that we are always within his sight and reach. We are always in his love. So how could we find the connection between the first reading and the gospel today? The connection is that love conquers fear. The perfect love described by John is the very foundation that allows us to obey Jesus' command. Do not be afraid in the storm of our life, in the storm of our family, in the storm of way in carrying out our faith in the daily life. We find our guarantee not in the absence of trouble. Again, we find the guarantee not in the absence of trouble, because as the followers of Jesus Christ, we still in this world find a lot of troubles, difficulties, hardships, and so forth. But we find our guarantee in the perfect love and sovereign power of the one who is with us in it. While the confidence in the first letter of St. John is the state we strive toward as we constantly witness Christ's faithfulness, deliverance, the disciples' fear indicates an imperfect love. So, if we who are in God's love still fear about this and worry about that, that indicates that our love to God is imperfect. This truth, my dear sisters and brothers, redefines security for every day of living, everyday life. It is the constant reality of being loved always and never abandoned, liberating from the grip of fear. It inspires unselfish love and mission, revealing God's unity through our care for others. In the final stages, it fosters a confident faith that encourages us to transition from fear to trust and live in the love of the one who controls the waves and embraces us. Jesus loves us, and He does love us. He is always with us. And this morning, we are grateful that we are given opportunity not only to believe, but to experience the presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. So let us now prepare ourselves to receive Jesus Christ, the source of love, so that in our daily lives, which is not free from troubles, difficulties, we experience the presence of Jesus in us.